Hi there. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Today I want to talk about the 7 business critical systems that you need. Just give you a brief introduction and share with you why I believe each one is crucial, not only to your business success, but ultimately to freeing you from the day-to-day of your business. There is so much confusion around systems. I certainly find that when I'm talking to business owners, very often when I talk about helping businesses to systemize, they immediately jump to IT. I must be a software developer, or I must be into systems automation. And there are some really, really good businesses that are fantastic at that. I work closely with a business called Remote, Paul and Jeannie McGilvery, and they do great work in taking a business and helping them to become more efficient and to automate what they do for efficiency and for greater profit ultimately. So what I'm talking about fits like hand in glove with that, but it's not that. And it's not just about doing stuff, putting together procedures so that your team know how to do stuff. Again, yes, absolutely, that is part of it, but it's certainly not all of it. I talk a lot about there being one way to cook French fries in a McDonald's. And there is. There's one way to do everything in a McDonald's, the one right way. But McDonald's isn't consistent and reliable because it has developed one right way to do everything. It's consistent and reliable because everybody does it that way. And one of the questions I'm usually asked when I go into a business is, how do I get people to do what I need them to do? I've put loads of energy into developing my systems, to developing my processes, to putting my procedures together, but nobody follows them. I was having a conversation just last week about exactly that. How do I get people to do what I want them to do? So really, I just want to be clear what my take is on systems and how I help businesses. And my take is that a system is simply a simple, logical, and repeatable way of doing something. And that there is one right way, or there should be one right way to do everything in your business that everybody follows. And that's how you achieve consistency. The first step really is to get clarity around what you do have in place and what you don't have in place. So this is why I want to introduce you to the 7 business critical systems and ask you to think about what you have in place currently. So I'm going to draw for you, which is not my forte, but there we go. I'll do it anyway. So the first system that you've got, so here's you're at point A here, and your business may currently be chaotic. It may be, you're doing okay, but you need to be there for it to work well. Or maybe you're in that position where you've spent all this time putting systems together. You know that they exist and a couple of people might follow them, but the majority of your team don't. Or maybe you're way up here and everything's working brilliantly. You have a wonderfully well-oiled machine that you don't need to be in there day to day. So let's say you're a little chaotic down here at A. So the first thing that you need to look at is your customer experience system. And when I'm talking about your customer experience system, I'm talking about your customer journey, that step by tiny step journey that your customer goes through to buy your thing, your service, your product, whatever it might be. All of those tiny steps, and being really clear what those tiny steps are, and making them as simple, logical, and repeatable as possible, making them efficient, making your customer's journey through your business easy. You want to be easy to do business with. So your customer journey is part of your customer experience system. And the other part is then developing one right way to do everything along that journey. So this is the doing stuff, having systems being the doing stuff, getting stuff right, having procedures in place. This is this part. This is what we're talking about here. And this is the when a lot of business owners are talking about wanting to systemize their business, they are focused almost entirely on their operation, on that journey that the customer goes through, on the development, production of their product, on the delivery of their service, whatever it might be. That's your customer journey. Developing one right way to do every task along that journey makes your customer experience system really solid and robust. So, as I said though, McDonald's aren't consistent because they have one right way to do everything. You know, the one right way to cook French fries, one right way to do a weekly management report, one right way to serve somebody at the front counter. They're consistent because of their people. And this is where I get quite excited, because I love the taking of a team that is not working well and turning it into a high-performing team. So how do you do that? Well, your second system then becomes your team building system. And that's not your rah, 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 I'm building a team, I'm doing team building days. This is actually looking at who you've got in your team and asking yourself the question, if I could rehire my entire team tomorrow, who would get to stay? Really assessing who you have and who really should be there. Who have you settled for when you hired? If you are hiring, and for future hiring, it will be looking at your hiring system and your probation system. And for me, your hiring system doesn't end until your probation system, you've got to the end of that and you've got a yes, no answer for your probation. So many of these people that shouldn't be in your team have been hired in a hurry. They've been hired to a CV. You've settled for, you've done 10 interviews and you've settled for the best of a bad bunch. Then they've gone into their probation system, but you haven't really got a solid probation system to catch the people that came in a hurry. And somebody finds themselves drifting into full-time employment because at the end of 3 months or 6 months, if that's the end of the length of your probation period, you didn't really sit down and think, is this person right for our business? Do they share our values? Do they work well with the rest of the team? Are they committed to following our systems? You have to get to that yes, no answer. So your hiring, your probation systems, your team assessment, that's all part of your team building. And it's absolutely crucial. You can't, businesses are full of people who don't belong there. And it's not right for the individuals either, because you could be preventing them from working in a business that they would absolutely fly. They'd be brilliant in. And you're allowing them to stay in your business where they're not a good fit. So let me just get rid of this bit so I can do it. Okay, so your next system, once you've got the right people in place, is your team development system. And this really is, this is how you get your business to be consistent, is that you take your one right way of doing everything and you train your team to follow it. And you invest time in training your team to follow that one right way. You have how-to videos, and it still frustrates me that so many people are typing out how-to guides and having procedural sheets for their team to follow when they could have a how-to video that is so quick and easy to create and so much easier for your team to consume. But anyway, I'm getting into too much detail, so I won't do that. So your team development is about your training, and it's also crucially about your feedback It's about your feedback system. It's about the way you give feedback day to day. So you can have one right way. You can have one right way. You can train your team. But if you don't give them feedback, if you don't follow up, if there are no consequences for not doing the job right, then all of that effort is wasted. Absolutely all of it, because you've got to give feedback in order for people to learn and grow and be kept honest. If they're, if you've settled for people that need constant follow-up, which hopefully you haven't, but almost certainly some of you will have, then you need to think about this feedback. And it's the day-to-day feedback. It's the not walking past something that is not up to your standard or that doesn't follow the one right way. Giving feedback straight away. Appreciative when you see something great. That's brilliant. That's, oh, finally, you've got it. That's brilliant. Love how you did that. Or, now, remember your training. That's not what we expect. We expect you to do, I expect you to do X, Y, and Z. Come on, let's make sure you get it right next time. Appreciative feedback, constructive feedback, and then formal feedback once a quarter. And I know once a quarter, oh my God, I've got to sit down with my whole team once a quarter. Yes, it's essential, particularly if you have people who don't belong in your team, because one way or the other, you need to remove those people from your team. And the way to do that is to performance manage them. Also recognize that there may be people that you think right now, oh, they're useless, they don't belong in my team. But actually, you just haven't trained them. You haven't given them feedback. They're not aware of your standards. They're not aware that they're not meeting your standards. So just be aware of that. So training and feedback, absolutely essential. Your fourth system then is your rhythm building system. And this really is where you keep the wheels of continuous improvement turning. So with your rhythm building systems, we're talking about your planning and we're talking about your communication. Your planning system, having 90-day goals, setting targets, getting your team involved in them. Your communication systems, having a daily huddle, a weekly meeting, a monthly review, and look forward. 90-day planning meeting where you take the time to look back at what you have done, to review what you've done well, to celebrate that, and to look forward to what's coming next. Involving your team in this cycle of continuous improvement, building that rhythm. It's essential to your business. Planning is essential to your business. Was it Eisenhower that said, it's not about the plans, it's about the planning, keeping everybody involved in this forward momentum. So those four systems are your foundations. They are the four foundations. And in simple, logical, repeatable, they are the systems that I focused on. They are the four systems that I recognized from McDonald's as building this amazing consistency and reliability that they still have today, that they're still, that they will accelerate out of this crisis as they have accelerated out of every crisis they've ever had. And they've had a few. So once you've got those foundations in place, then we're talking about your growth systems, your two growth systems. One is your systemized sales, and the other is your money in, money out systems. So one is making sure that this amazing business that you've created, that you are shouting about it to everybody that will listen, but in a very systemized way, that you have campaigns, regular campaigns, that you have a plan for what's going to happen with your marketing every day. You're not reacting to downturns, you're planning. You're really clear about where the money is going to come from. Then with your money in, money out systems, we're talking about looking after the pennies. We're talking about understanding your cash flow, having a cash flow system, having systems that examine your expenses at least every quarter, that look at whether you are, whether you're wasting money, look at the value that you're getting from your money. making sure that you've got good, solid credit control systems, solid referral systems. Well, actually, they would come in your systemised sales, but all of those really crucial growth systems. So these are your two growth systems. And then finally is the system that is all about you, your personal management and development system. And this really is where you really start to examine how you are controlling and managing your own time. Whether you're allowing your inbox, for example, to rule your day. You open it first thing in the morning, and then you suddenly come out of your inbox reactive mode mid-afternoon and think, where the hell did that day go? Whether you are teaching your team how to work with you, having team time for an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, how you are generally planning your day, your week, your month, to make sure that you achieve your 90-day goals, that the business achieves its 90-day goals. And then how you are developing yourself, what how much time and effort you're putting into books. Do you have a mentor? Are you working through a program that's opening your mind and expanding your mind to what's out there, how to work better, how to make the most? We only have one life, and we really want to make the most of it. But we have to invest time and money to do, not always money, but time definitely to do that. So your personal management system is as crucial as all of the other systems. You get those 7 systems in place, and you have consistency in your business. Your business is reliable, and that gives you complete freedom of choice. You're not needed in your business. You're redundant by the time you have all of those systems in your business. You're not needed. And that gives you choice, choice to sell your business, to scale it, to franchise it, or to go off and travel and run it from a beach somewhere, or from a different country while you're en route. So these 7 business critical systems are what I want you to get real clarity about, because first comes clarity. Really think about what you have in place in each of these areas. Is it robust? Is it solid? Would you say that you don't need any help to improve on any of these? Because first comes clarity, then comes consistency, and out of that consistency comes choice. And choice is nirvana, isn't it? Freedom of choice is what we all are hoping for, what we're all working towards, what we all want. So I've given you plenty of food for thought there. If you want to get clarity about where you're at with the 4 foundations, then obviously please do take the business efficiency test. I'll put the link to it, but it is businessefficiencytest.co.uk, so fairly easy to remember. Take the test and see where you're at, even just with those 4 foundation systems. I'd love to get your feedback on these 7 business critical systems, so please feel free to comment. And of course, if you want to hear more about each of these 7 systems, then sign up to my YouTube channel. Subscribe should be the right word. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be giving you an awful lot more information over the coming weeks and months. Anyway, thank you very much for taking the time to be here. I hope I've given you value, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks a lot.